One trick that has saved grandmasters again and again is the art of swindling. Now, what is a swindle in chess? Well, let's understand swindling with the help of this example. So here, the position looks completely lost for black, and since black's queen is under attack, black moves the queen to the g6 square. Looks like black has made a blunder because now his queen is hanging and white can easily capture it. But if white makes the mistake of capturing this queen, then the game would result into a stalemate. And now we can say that white got swindled by black. So what is a swindle in chess? Well, a swindle is like a sneaky move in chess. Imagine you're winning and your opponent makes a move that seems like a mistake, but it's actually a clever trap. Because if you fall for it, you might end up with a draw or even lose, even though you were winning before. Now let's understand why swindles are so important in chess. Swindles are important because they can completely change the outcome of a game. So if you are losing, you should try to make things tricky for your opponent to give yourself a chance. And if you are winning, you need to be careful not to fall into any traps. Now let's look at a game which is popularly known as the swindle of the century. Or this game is also called as the mother of all swindles. Well, here is a position where black is up a pawn and black has just moved his pawn to h5. Black is preparing to attack on white's king side. And here white should have tried either king to g1 or maybe rook to a8. But white makes a mistake of playing queen to c8. The idea is that white is now putting double pressure on this knight over here. But because the king moved out of her own territory, it gave black the chance to enter white's position with the move rook to d1. So what black is saying is that fine, if you wanna capture my knight, I'm gonna capture your bishop over here. And my rook would be too close to your king along with all these deadly pieces over here. But white here makes another mistake. Instead of grabbing this knight over here, white plays bishop takes pawn. White thinks that anyway my bishop is gonna die, so why not capture a pawn before dying? But that's a mistake. Why? Because this bishop moved over here, which was earlier protecting this pawn, this g2 pawn is now guarded only by this king. And since the black knight is already putting a lot of pressure over here, black immediately plays queen to g5, threatening to checkmate over here. Now white doesn't want to get checkmated, so he plays g3, moving the pawn and attacking the knight over here, which was now pinned to the black's queen. Black captures the bishop and white captures the knight. And now black plays rook to e1, which is a great move. The idea is, what black is saying is that hey, if you capture my knight over here, then don't think that I'm a fool to capture this bishop because then I would lose my queen. No, that's not what I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play the deadly move rook to e2 check. If bishop interferes, then rook takes bishop check, king moves to the corner, and now it's a checkmate. Let's go back. And if the bishop doesn't interfere and if the king goes to corner, then queen to g2 is checkmate again. So let's go back. So that is why rook to e1 is such a great move. Now white obviously cannot capture this knight. So what should white play here? So white thinks there is no point in moving the bishop from here. So white here thinks, let me put more pressure over here. So he plays rook takes f7, grabbing a pawn and putting more pressure on the knight over here. Now black captures the bishop. Now white plays h4 and now two of black's pieces are under attack. Black is definitely going to lose his knight over here. So what did black play here? Well, he neither moved his queen nor the knight, but rather played an in-between move which we call as Zwischenzug in chess. So he plays rook e2 check, an in-between move. King moves to the corner, and now in order to checkmate the white king, black makes the mistake of grabbing this pawn over here. Why is this a mistake? Because now the white king is completely trapped in the corner. It cannot move. It doesn't have any legal squares to go. Also, if you look at all of these pawns, they cannot move one step further. And black is threatening to checkmate on the g2 square. So how can white save his game? So white came up with the swindles of the century. Starting with queen to g8 check. White is sacrificing his queen. Why? Because the king cannot move. It doesn't have any legal squares to go. All the white pawns are stuck. They don't have any place to move forward. So white comes up with a plan to get rid of his queen and the rook. If black makes the mistake of moving the king to g6, then queen takes g7 would be a checkmate. So black cannot go there. If black moves the king to h6, then that is a blunder too, because white can now mate the game with queen h8 check, king moves to g6, and now queen takes pawn is a checkmate again. So therefore, after this check, black was forced to capture this queen. And now white played another brilliant sacrifice. Rook takes pawn check, forking the king and the queen. Doesn't matter with what black captures, either with his king or with the queen, the game would result into a stalemate. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you learned something new today. So here is the question of the day for you. Black has just played bishop to c1. He's giving up his bishop for free. So what are the winning moves for white over here? Let me know your answers in the comments box, and be careful, don't get swindled by black. This is Prerna signing off from You, Me and Chess.